Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good evening. My name is Faisal Kassim and welcome to the live Real Talk. This show that keeps you glued every Thursday night waiting to hear wisdom oozing from this panel. And of course tonight is no different, talking about CBC, and I'm asking you, what is your view on competence-based curriculum? In studio tonight, I'm joined by an amazing panel this evening to talk about this issue. And of course, starting from my far left end, I have Miss Esther Ndungo. I got that right?
Yes.
Amazing. Karibu sana, Miss Esther Ndungo. Of course, you have Jasper Omwega. Karibu sana, Ndungo. Not your first time being the student?
It's not the first time I've been here. Last year.
Yes, you're also here.
Twice, yeah.
Yes, Karibu sana. We love you around. That's why we invited you again. And of course, virtually, we're joined by Dr. Adan, a senior lecturer at Umma University. Of course, part of the Muslim educationists who took part in coming up with a memorandum from the Muslim community for as far as CBC is concerned. Doctor, assalamu alaikum, if you can hear me. Doc, can you hear me? Okay, interesting. I'm told a few hitches, technical hitches right there, being experienced on the other side. But of course, he's going to be with us, part of this conversation tonight. But again, before we delve into this matter, we need to hear this bite that was prepared by Aban Shemi. Aban?
I support the continuation of CBC, but under a reformed framework that looks into the costs on parents, access to learning resources, supports inclusivity, capacity building of teachers, and in which is not financial burden on our parents. So if we get this kind of education, this is what we want. It can be called CBC, it can be called another name. But as long as it is carrying the interest of the people, that is the education we want.
Thank you so much, Aban Shihemi, right there. Do we have Dr. Adan already in? Let me know once we have him back in. But again, in the meantime, Esther, you've heard what the governor said. Say that we need to have this competence-based curriculum. Like, in other words, he's just rubber stamping it. We need to have it either way, right? But just some few technicalities, he suggested things that should be done. Before I ask you what's your opinion about that, let me ask you, what do you feel or think about the CBC curriculum in general?
Okay, for me, I feel that CBC is a good thing compared to the already existing 844 system.
Okay.
Reason being that it's giving the children the time to explore their talents and also realize their dreams when they are at a young age. So for me, curriculum, the CBC, it's a good thing.
You feel it's a good thing?
Yes.
I'd like to hear maybe your sentiments as well, Bwana Jasper, about the same.
Thank you. CBC is one of the best things that this country has ever had, and it is making the kid have an holistic approach of everything. They are becoming very responsible. They're becoming people who can be able to be relied upon and having the aspect of citizenship. It's one of the best things that we've had, and I fully support it, and I fully look at it, despite the fact that it has one or two things here and there that can be rectified and fixed and reviewed. In general, CBC is one of the best curriculum that we have had in this country.
So as you're speaking as well on your behalf, on the behalf of the association, being the Nairobi chair of the Parents Association?
I am doing that, so because I've talked to so many parents on that, they have really given their view that it's a good idea, it's a good curriculum, despite the fact that it has one or two things that needs to be addressed, which I'm happy that the president has formed the working party task force to look into that.
Thank you so much. One of the things that may have guided the president, I'm assuming 100%, one of the things that may have guided the president until formation of this task force was the aspect of consultation and aspect of stakeholder engagement and management prior to this CBC being implemented. Esther, coming from a professional perspective, professional background, you are a teacher right now, expected to implement CBC, right? We saw some teachers coming out during the consultation or the launching actually phase on the 3rd of December, 2 years back, saying that they were not consulted on this matter. Why are you consulted in your capacity as a teacher and fellow teachers through your associations? Why are you guys consulted?
Let me say the consultation were not done in the right way, and actually the teachers were not fully involved to decide or maybe to engage on the ways the curriculum should be implemented, because I feel there are so many things that needs to be looked at, because this is the same teacher who is expected to handle the 844, and it's the same teacher who is expected to handle CBC at the same time. Because if you look at a teacher who is teaching grade 4 or grade 5, they also have other subjects in class 8 and class 7. So this is the same teacher who is handling two curriculums, which is not very easy. And I feel we were not fully consulted, and if we were, we could have given our views. Yes.
Interesting. I'm going to ask you the same, Jasper, because, I mean, even during the day of the launch, some of you boycotted the event, did not attend. There were pre-conferences before the launch. The Parents Association boycotted, did not attend. If anything, came out to the media, right, and claimed that they were not invited, they were not consulted. Yet, Professor George Magoha, the former education CS, came out several times saying that he consulted widely and the consultations were done in the right manner. Why are you guys adequately consulted in putting up the CBC?
There was no adequate consultation that was done to the association, to the parents, and other professionals. The implementation, when it was started and the way it was done, there was no enough consultation to involve each and every view to be put in place to work to a better implementation, a seamless implementation. It was done in a way that people could be asked a question, they answer a question, they say that is the consultation. It was not, public participation was not there. The aspect of serious consultation, it was not done. It could have come up, those gaps that are appearing now could have been realized that time and they could be dealt with at that infant stage. But now we have gone so far. That's why you could see even during that launch, there was some issues that were being raised, that there was no enough consultation, despite the fact that we support the curriculum, but consultation and the aspect of talking and discussing and involving parents, engaging them to understand the whole thing was not effectively done. That's why you are seeing so many cries and issues being raised by the same parents, because they were not initially given enough information to understand what is CBC.
Are you then saying that CBC was implemented too soon?
It was implemented, but the bit of implementation was so high.
So I'm asking you, so are you saying that it was implemented too soon because consultations were not done widely?
Yes.
Is that what you mean?
Yes, yes.
And you didn't do much about it apart from just kind of protesting, of which you didn't take up follow-up actions after that?
As an association, we have made serious follow-ups with the KICD who are developing the curriculum. We have consulted with the minister, but all he says that we'll be able to talk. We have even requested for our association members, even the parents, to be given training information about the CBC alone to understand. They always promise that they'll do it, but it has never been done.
Maki, we had Jacqueline Onyango here 2 years ago to be exact, and she confirmed, that is the deputy director at the KICD, and she confirmed that parents were consulted and they were involved in the process, and even the teachers for that matter, and they were even trained.
They were there preparing the guidelines on parental empowerment and engagement. That is where it was done. And once the manual was done, one member
representing the association?
The association.
Okay.
And it was not thrown to the whole association to look at this engagement and parental empowerment and engagement guideline, so they can give their input and it could come out with the input of the parents. So it was done because it was at the top. So to the grassroots, there was no consultation right from the grassroots, because you cannot talk about consultation at the national level without consulting the grassroots, so that the views of the person at the grassroots can be added at the national level.
Thanks so much. Let me just loop in Dr. Ali Adan, joining us all the way from Kajiado, known as the bedroom county, where people sleep and work in Nairobi. Dr. Ali, assalamu alaikum, and thank you so much for joining us this evening. Doctor? Doctor? I think we're having issues connecting to Dr. Ali, who once again, is it because it was raining? I mean, we were complaining about drought, but again it started raining and thus interfering with the network. But my producer and director for the evening, Aban Shihemi, is trying to work on it. Esther, again, we've heard here from Jasper that actually CBC, in his opinion, was kind of implemented a bit too soon. Yes. Do you share the same sentiments as a parent? As a teacher, rather, sorry.
Okay, let me say, sometimes you have asked Jasper whether the Parents Association were represented, and he has just told you one person. The same case, teachers are many, and you find that one or two represented the teachers. So there are so many views that the teachers in the classes could have given, but maybe those that represented them, they shared their own opinions. So you find that the teacher who is in class has so many things that are very important, but there is no platform to share. So for me, I feel it was implemented so soon, because it is somehow, there are a lot of gaps between implementation of CBC and 844. So if they were given time, at least we could have waved one curriculum away and then we start implementing the other. So
to speak, they said it's going to be on transition, so to speak, right? One, they're phasing it out in phases, correct? Yeah. And that's why they're building the new classes. Anyway, now that we are already here, right? As a teacher, you people were given the books, were given the curriculum, were trained on how to implement the CBC. How is it taking you so far?
Implementation is not easy. And I will give example with most of the public schools that we have, whereby we have a lot of, the enrollment is very big. So you find a teacher is expected to do a lot of practical work with the children, and he or she has 100 kids in a classroom, and the same teacher is expected to handle 11 subjects at the same time. So you find that it's not easy for the teachers to implement.
It's tough.
It's very
So
tough.
do you then say some schools which are probably private schools with fewer students have better chances of implementing CBC compared to others?
Yeah.
And thus bringing the whole inequality aspect?
Yeah, it is, because the fewer students you have in class, it's easier for you to work with them. But you find mostly the public institutions that we have, they are overcrowded. The enrollment is very high.
As teachers, have you raised such complaints to the authorities? Through your associations and all that? When it comes to pay, you really raise complaints. When you need demand an increase in payment, you really raise complaints. Of course, through associations again, like the Teacher Service Commission and all that, right? You even threaten to down your tools. Yeah. But again, when it comes to delivery, and the conditions are not conducive for delivery, we are not seeing similar efforts. Mwalimu.
Actually, this is known, and actually you have heard even the government saying that there is a very big shortage of teachers in the classes. So the government is aware. It's not that it's not aware. And now, when it gets to that point, those that are still in class, we wait for other staffs to be employed.
So you wait as you're carrying on with that?
Exactly.
But again, the learning is not as effective.
It is not.
And these students expected to see the same exam with someone who has gone through 100% learning.
Exactly. And the teacher has the will, but now he has no choice.
Jasper, I'm going to loop you in. You pay for the fees as the Parents Association. You pay for the school fees. You take part in all these activities. But again, there's an aspect of inequality straight from the horse's mouth. Schools with better infrastructure have better capacity and ability to implement compared to those that have, quote unquote, insufficient infrastructure. As parents, have you taken note of this?
We have taken note of that, and we've raised it in several forums. And we've raised it with even the minister. The former CS, Professor George Magoa, all he said that we need to engage the parents who are capable to assist in putting up some of these facilities. If I can give an example of Nairobi, most of the public schools in Nairobi, they're in pathetic conditions because classes are not there. One class is having up to 120 pupil learners. And that makes the teacher not to actually give the learning aspect of CPC, they resort to teaching. Because 844 was about teaching, but CPC is about learning. The teacher resorts to learning, to teaching, philosophy learning, because the facilities are not sufficient. The rooms are not there for the kids to be put in groups. So we have raised that, and we are actually working with that organizations to see that we have add what we call infrastructure, and we are working through the County Education Board. We put up, we brought on all of, stakeholders and NGOs that are working in education sector, trying to put up more of these facilities, the infrastructure in public schools, so that we can have enough for them to have room and have that. The other big challenge is that most of our public schools do not have land title deeds, and they are prone to a lot of land grabbing. That makes it difficult even to implement even for
That's
the
on
school.
governance issues, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay, interesting. Thanks so much, Jasper. I'm going to get back to you. Let me just loop in Dr. Ali Adan, senior lecturer at the Umma University, and of course, an educationist by profession. Doctor, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening, Dr. Ali Adan, all the way from Kajiado. Doc, you are part of the educationists that gathered here within Jamia few days ago to discuss about your views on the CBC during this period of public participation. As an educationist, what are some of the issues that were raised during that sitting in regards to implementation of CBC?
Thank you so much, our moderator. First and foremost, let me just make a quick remark. One is we as Kenyans, we need to appreciate the good intention of the government. And as a result, we will never satisfy the full the law. So the CBC by design and by objective is but the challenges that are associated with it is the preparation is a bit rushed.
Doc, I think I'm losing you. I can't hear you well.
And there is and that is why the problems and all this intrigue surrounding the system is coming in. So during that during the Muslim Education Consultative Forum, things came up to infrastructural concerns, inadequate distribution of teachers, and And for example, the inequalities that has been witnessed across the country, particularly in the marginalized communities, surface strongly. So the other challenge that was mentioned,
Dr. Ali Adan right there. So just going to have to continue the conversation in-house as
so
we're waiting
what
for
came
that issue
up
to be
is
fixed
actually
with
for
Dr.
sure
Ali Adan joining us all the way from Kajiado. But again,
national
we've had some of the issues which we're just talking about here right now for as far as implementation is concerned. But talking about some of these things is one thing. And again, providing tangible solutions. It's one thing to say, this phone has no charge. But again, it's another thing to say, this phone has no charger, here's the charger. Or this phone has no charger, here's the money, go and buy the charger. Or this one has no charger, but again you can get the charger from this spot, right? So are you just sitting here and lamenting about the situation, or are we actually providing tangible solutions? For example, talking about inadequate teachers. As parents, you're coming out and tell the government, hey, CS, we don't have adequate teachers to fit in these schools. What is the solution for that? Are we offering anything? Are we asking pupils or children to take up teaching as a career? What avenues are you proposing to try and address some of these inequalities?
It's not that we do not have enough teachers out there. There are enough teachers. What we have done as an association, we have tried to do a memorandum to the parliamentary committees on education to solicit for more funds to have the more teachers being employed. At the same time, we are trying
so we have enough teachers, so we don't have enough funds. To the commission.
To the commission.
Okay.
The other thing is the association is trying to engage with parents, and they have employed a lot of teachers to assist the POM teachers who are working and paid by the parents, so that they can be able to kind of bridge the gap of lack of enough teachers. In infrastructure, I've told you that in Nairobi we are working with the NGOs and other stakeholders to put up more classrooms, more schools. We are also engaging the political class, because for the previous parliament, most of the MPs in Nairobi did wonderful work when it comes to education. They put up so many schools and so many classrooms. So we are appealing to them and the other stakeholders come on board.
From the CDF?
Yes.
That's currently in a court?
Yes.
We'll get back to that and discuss way much more, and discuss much more within that sphere just after this break. Allow me to take a very short break. We go and pay our bills right now. But again, don't you touch that dial, because we need to understand we are at quote-unquote crossroads right now with CBC. What are the expectations? What are we looking at into the near future? This and much more after the break.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
قال تعالى في محكم تنزيله بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
Inasaha kutoka pwani.
هذا الدين قال الله قال الرسول قال الصحابة هم أولو العرفان. انتهى.
Ili kuongoza kwenye njia iliyonyoka.
Sikizeni hadithi hii ya Mtume alayhi salatu wasalam.
Hakuna atakayeweza kumfungia mtu mlango ambaye Mwenyezi Mungu alimfungulia.
Kuimarisha imani yako.
Thabbit qulubana ala dinik wa ala ta'atik.
Ungana na mashekh wetu kutoka pwani kwenye mimbar.
Mimbar zinamwakilisha Mtume sallallahu alayhi wasallam.
Ni Jumamosi na wakati saa 3 usiku katika Horizon TV, runinga uipendayo.
Uislamu ni dini yenye mpangilio ulio kamili, na taratibu zake humpa fursa kila mja kuifahamu na kuelewa.
Muislamu yoyote lazima achukue jukumu la kuifahamu dini yake. kuanzia kwenye shahada, ashhadu, nakiri kwa moyo,
kisha usafi wa kimwili.
hapo ndipo huanza safari ya kumwabudu Mola wake.
Usikose kujiunga nasi kila siku ya Jumamosi live kwenye kipindi Ufahamu Uislamu, ili ujifunze mengi usiyojua kutoka Horizon TV.
Horizon TV.
Assalamu alaikum, and thank you so much for keeping it live. Real Talk, my name is Faisal Kassim, and welcome back. We are talking about competence-based curriculum. Or is it competency? Or both?
It's a competency.
Competency.
Competency. So
Yes.
actually I had it's both. So there are those who are referring to as competence in terms of competence, because they said it's both grammatically accepted. Competence and competency.
Competence.
So which one is it?
It is competency.
Competency-based curriculum.
Yes.
Wow, great. Thank you so much for keeping it live, Real Talk. My name is Faisal Kassim, and we are talking about competency-based curriculum. Yeah, Asante sana Mwalimu Esther and Jasper for correcting me on that. And we touched on the implementation. Right now we are at quote-unquote crossroad, right? We are looking at where the president has put up a task force to go around the country, collect views on CBC. Before election, it was like, hey, CBC to the I come in, we stop this thing, right? But again, he comes in, no stopping. First thing, put up a task force. Go ahead and collect views. Jasper, what do you think about this task force? What are your expectations? What are you looking at in terms of the possible outcome of this task force?
Already it is known that CPC is going nowhere.
That's what you feel, or that's what you know?
That is what is there. It has been said.
By
so what we are actually looking at is the gaps.
Said by who?
The Deputy President, Honorable Rigati Gashawa.
I thought it was about to review, not to...
He said it is here to say what we are doing is looking at the gaps. That's the review that we are doing. The gaps that are there in the CPC, those are the ones that are being looked into. Although there is not enough time for those gaps to be looked into, because already everything is done, because the amount of time we are giving to each and every county, a county with 14 sub-counties given a day and a half to correct the views from all the members, and the most affected people were the parents.
Yeah.
And they are not really on the table to discuss. They are actually at the product level, they're not at the process level.
Wow. Wow. Interesting. Esther.
Yes.
What are your expectations about the CBC? What would be your recommendation if today we would have, let's say, this committee here, or one of those committees, because now, because of time, the concept of time, they've been distributed, right, all over. So if today you had some of those committee members here, what would you tell them about CBC?
For me, let me say, as teachers, we are ready to work. And actually, teaching is not just a career. Teaching is let me say, it's a talent. And if you see somebody accepting to go and handle those young kids in class, it means that you have passion to go and teach. But we have no problem with the CBC. We really accept it. The only issue we have is that the work is too much. So if the government can hasten the issue of employing more teachers, we feel we can be able to deliver. So employment of teachers, we are good to go.
Employment of teachers, that's it?
Yes.
Training, you guys are okay?
Okay, training has been going on. So that's why I said initially that they hastened the implementation, because we were going for training when we are still implementing. So the kids cross for holidays and then we go for training. So teachers used to not to go for holiday. So you break for classes, then next week you go for training.
Great.
Yeah.
Frank from Nairobi, Saika Junction says the CBC is a good system. They ought to do more, put more facilitators on the ground and add more teachers. Thank you. Watching from Nairobi along Kangundo Road, Saika Junction. Dr. Ali Adan, we are here 9 minutes still into the show, and right now we are looking into the future. CBC right now collecting views. I know you have prepared a whole memoranda to be presented to the committees the day you'll be presenting. I hear the first people will be presenting it on Monday in one of the counties. What are some of the recommendations that you had recommended in the document to be presented to the committees?
Thank you so much, my brother Faisal, once again. I'm sure that I got bit, but very quickly, I think I want to say that one of the key major recommendations, adequate engagement of all stakeholders. Then we need to pilot centers of excellences by building on existing institutions. And another strategic thing that we really want to, we need to, because at the moment it's like CBC is considered as a government. So that what we want is a CBC need to be a center of each and every tension, whether academia, whether the schools, whether the ministry, whether the private sector. We need, because to put together as a country, not to leave it as president baby or baby. That is one major thing. Then another key things that we want to see is where the universities roles to prepare or teachers. But currently what is happening is the ministry side and dogs to the teachers at a very localized level. But this CBC is here to address major problems in this country, whereby we want human capital for the 21st century to drive the economic prosperity. We need CBC to be of all one major thing that I really like. Why today system is small, but the other I really want to give, when we talk about participation or engagement, you need not to be bogged down. Of course, you will never consult 50 plus million, or you will never exhaust 500 stakeholders in the education sector. So we really need to appreciate the efforts that is being made to ensure that we move forward. But the government, the way they invest in security system, the way they invest in infrastructure, that is the national infrastructure system, the government must make a deliberate investment, develop infrastructure for it. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Dr. Ali. Before I let you go, how far and wide have you consulted the Muslim community on this CBC before you met the recommendations in the memorandum?
Thank you so much, my brother. I think as far as Muslim Education Council are concerned, they have representatives in each force. They have been sensitized. They have been 5 working parties will be visiting each and every county. They are in a development and contribute proactively to all the issues that we imagine that will affect the Muslims, that will affect the non-Muslims, that will affect the citizens of the country.
I'm asking this because just today again, a section of Muslim leaders in Nairobi came out and said that they are against CBC. Few days ago, we saw a section of Muslim leaders again from Mombasa coming out and say they're against CBC. Right now, Horizon is actually conducting a poll in one of the most active and most represented Muslim WhatsApp groups. And the question is clear. What is your opinion on CBC? Right now, There are three options: scrap it, leave it as it is, or maintain what's positive but fix what's lacking. And guess what? Everybody who has voted is saying scrap it. Have you captured some of those views in your memorandum?
I thank you so much. I think, yes, I think my personal opinion as a Muslim scholar, CBC is a blessing we must embrace. But what we need to fix the gaps that are there. Why I'm saying this is the teachers and the parents who are well represented in this program are learning about a dilapidated school support learning, for example, so that we can be able to 21st century learning is to modernize infrastructure, invest in teachers' capacity development, including the pedagogy, and then also these competency skills that need to be piloted. So this is what I first things we need to fix the gap, adapt and move with it.
Wow. Thank you. Thanks so much, Dr. Ali Adan. Now, lady and gentlemen, back in studio, we had very little time with Dr. Ali Adan, so that's why when the network is good, I had to shoot all the questions at once.
Okay.
Right? But now, coming back, you say moving forward, few things government should put in place. One is employ more teachers.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But where are the funds to employ more teachers?
The government has funds if we can source and work with private-public partnership. We get enough funds and donors can come up on board. Parents can be able to work on board so that we can have a lot of teachers being employed to work. Another thing is that there is a lot of duplication of duties. So if the duties can be rechecked and reassessed, then we can have a lot of funds that is being wasted to be channeled towards teacher employment. The budget to be increased, we have more teachers, we have more infrastructure, and more so, the KICD needs to work on the SNE, special needs education material, that can be catering for all the SNE learners of different disabilities, so that they can be able to be involved in the learning, because most of them are left out in the learning process.
Is there something that can be done that doesn't touch directly on finances? Because I mean, right now, everybody will tell you, we got a dilapidated economy. We came in, we didn't find anything in the economy. So is there anything that can be done without concerning directly finances right now?
The implementation can be done with very little funds if we can use what's called locally available material in the learning process. Although most of them are not using the local available material, they are actually looking at the way, how do we get things from the cyber, from the printers and all that.
And from the internet.
And the internet,
yeah.
Which is not the right thing for CPC. CPC was meant to develop the talents of these young learners, to have them be musicians, to be what they want to be in future. So this is what was the essence of CPC. But we are eroding it because parents were never given enough information. We lack information of our members so that they can be able to impress, because this is one of the best things that we can impress and work with.
As a country.
As a country.
Thank you so much. Very quickly about you. So again, is there anything, because everybody's talking about budgets, things to be done, infrastructure, deployment, employment. Yeah. Is there anything that can be done out of the budget? I mean, let's be realistic. If you're talking about budgetary increase, how long will it take until the government allocates more funds to this ministry and all that, right? So is there anything that can be done? Very quickly, as you're wrapping up.
Okay, I see the free primary education policy is that the parents should not be charged. But you find in some schools, there are some parents who understand and they employ their teachers. Once they see the workload of the teachers in the classes, then they come in and employ the teachers. So you see, this is not involving the government. But the parents themselves realize all these classes congested, and we need to assist the teacher who is there employed by the TSC. Okay, the teacher is employed through the board of management, and they really help. So with the parents, the schools are doing okay, and they are doing better. Some of the schools where the parents agree to employ other teachers. But I also feel, and I would like to challenge the Parents Association, because the noise that we are having right now, it's coming from the parents. And the reason being is that the parents have not been involved. They have not been politician in Western, one of them. He said that the teachers are asking for chicken and so that they can eat. But this is what has been asked. If you go to most of the schools, the kids they are rearing chicken, and there was a requirement. But you see now the parent is asking himself, why are you asking for chicken and I don't even eat chicken at home? So you see that as much as the teachers, we want to follow whatever it's asked of us, then you realize the parents don't really understand. So I would like to challenge the Parents Association to make sure that they bring forums for the parents to be enlightened on CBC.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Esther. Thank you so much, my brother Jasper. Asanteni sana for your time. We 2 minutes past the time. I'd like to call it a wrap and end it here. Thanks so much, Dr. Ali Adan, all the way from Kajiado County. And thank you so much to you, all the viewers, for keeping it live, Real Talk. I hope you have gotten benefits, just as I have right here in studio. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think I have any much to say, or else I'll get strangled in studio because of time. Until next time, see you simply same time. My name is Faisal Kassim. Peace be with you.